Mustard! I'm kidding, guys. I had to do it, though. Welcome to a very, very special episode of the SPS podcast. This is the Arsenal edition. This is your host, Dean, and I'm here with Coach. What's going on, Coach? How you doing? How you feeling?
I've been in my work clothes literally since I got in. I got in quite late, to be fair, and I watched the Arsenal game, and I'm still, I'm a quarter-zip cunt. I know, guys. I'm sorry. But it is what it is.
I too am in my work clothes. I'm part of the team today because I am very ecstatic, very excited about what we just witnessed. Yeah. Arsenal went away to Sporting. It's Sporting, not Sporting Lisbon. People get it right. But it don't matter what they're called because we whooped their ass 5-1. I can't remember a performance away from home in Europe that's good for Arsenal since, I don't know, Inter away all those years ago, perhaps. And that's just not. I guess maybe Milan away as well in the quarterfinals.
I was going to say, caliber of the team, it was probably still be Milan, but yeah, you're right. Keep going.
But this is a big deal specifically for this manager because in the 5 years that he's been at the club, he hasn't really had a lot of great moments away from home in Europe. And it's been one of the points that people used to flug him and say that, he needs to develop more as a manager. And perhaps that's a fair assessment. But as we've often discussed in private, the sample size isn't really large enough to criticize the manager. Yeah. But what were you expecting today? Like, what was as a fan going into this game, what was your expectation going into the game?
I'll be very honest with you, and this isn't arrogance or me talking in hindsight. I expected us to batter them, to be honest. I watched that City game. I was like, City are just in that moment, basically, but City should have been 5-0 up in the first half. Game over kind of thing. They're a great attacking team kind of thing, but yeah, I thought Fonseca was managing them tonight because I didn't see anything off the ball from them, basically, is what I'm saying. That was pretty much, even if we wouldn't batter them, we'll get into the game, but I was thinking, we'll score a couple tonight. I was like, we'll score a couple tonight because I just know they can't defend. They just can't defend.
So you weren't even a little, for lack of a better term, intimidated or at least cautious about the fact that, one, they did what they did to City a couple of weeks ago. 2, they have been undefeated this season. Nobody has beat them. 3, they haven't lost in the stadium since October 2023. So this was not an easy mission for Arsenal.
It wasn't an easy mission. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't an easy mission at all, but I suppose this is a decent segue into our first 11, but knowing that we had pretty much what most people would consider our strongest first 11, and we're just off the back of a good result, basically, I just knew if Arsenal turned up today, home record, whatever, blah, 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 we'll have way too much for them. Like, genuinely, that's how I thought. And I know the away record is something that it's just, it hangs over your head and whatnot, but a lot of those games, Arsenal weren't battered overall. Like, Bayern Munich away last year, Arsenal just ran out of steam. It wasn't that we tactically we fell short or we just blocked. Like, whatever Bayern did to stem our flow on the right hand side, it was purely a physical conditioning thing. We looked tired. That was it, and that's why I was just like, Arsenal turned up today. We're winning quite comfortably. That's how I thought. So,
and it was quite comfortable. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the lineup before we move on into the details of the game that we watched. We had Raya in goal per usual. Timber at right back. God, please protect this man. William Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori on the left. Then the midfield, number 5, Odegaard. Declan Rice came back in after a little bit of a break. Can't quite tell if he's healthy yet or not, but he's back.
He looks fine.
He looked fine to me. Then we had Gabriel Martinelli on the left, Kai Havertz through the middle, and Bukayo Saka on the right. If you think most people think that's our best starting 11 on paper, I think you think most people think that, but I don't think you think that. What is the missing piece in that lineup for you?
I'm just okay. Put it like this: I would be okay with Ben White being right back and Timber being left back, or I'd be okay with Timber being right back and Calafiori being left back. Like, it's very hot. It's put it like this: we're very blessed. Arsenal are very, very, very blessed.
We're very blessed, but I have to say that I have to sort of question you a little bit there because I think there's a distinct, as good as Timber is at everything he does, there's a distinct difference between his quality as a right back and his quality as a left back. He's just not as good on the left. He's not. He's going to make sure the winger doesn't do shit, but going forward, a little different. It's a little
Yeah,
different.
I think the passing angles and whatnot are obviously a little bit more complicated if he's playing left back, and even just creating the passing lanes for himself is going to be it's an extra touch, it's a maneuver, you know what I mean, to come back inside or whatever, and he's going to take a little bit more time if he's going to pass it with his left foot. So again, those sort of things, you know, matter at the top level. But I'm Arsenal have performed incredibly well with him at left back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one of those where I'm just like I'm okay with it in it. But again, I'm a big fan of fullbacks playing on their strong side, so I get it. But yeah, I'm so unfussed. Whoever's our fullback, when all our fullbacks are fit, the only person that I'm worried about a fullback is Zinchenko. Basically, is what I'm saying. Everybody else, I'm just like, whatever, guys. Do your worst or your best, whatever. You know. So
All right. When I saw the lineup,
mm,
my curiosity was about the midfield structure.
yeah.
And I brought that up in our group chat, and I asked you, like, what do you think? Do you think Rice plus number 5 means it's a double pivot now, or are we still
Mm,
playing Rice as sort of like the pure left 8, or like, and if that's the case, is the purpose of having those two in there
mm.
to give Odegaard a platform to be more free, or is it more about freeing up the wingers?
I think it's a little bit of both, but we didn't actually really get to see a double pivot today, apart from out of position, basically out of position. Our out of position shape was still the 4-2-4/4-4-2, but with the ball, I think we saw something closer to what we saw with Declan Rice at West Ham. It was a little bit more all action, all over the pitch, rather than just confined to the left hand side, basically. Um, so, but what also it allowed for was, you know, I'm probably going skipping ahead a little bit, but I'll just make a little point here. What also allowed for is us having a few spare men, basically, when Declan Rice would come even further infield, basically. But yeah, I think in terms of protecting and platforming, you know, our difference makers, they're still happy to come back and defend, basically. But I feel like the extra security of them knowing, look, Rice is here and he's not going to be running beyond the ball as much. Again, it just gives you confidence. You knowing that on one side you just got someone feeding Odegaard and he can do the rest, basically. So I think, yeah, it definitely helps having those two there to set the platform, basically, especially in out of possession if you've got the 3-2 shape sort of thing. So yeah.
Okay, very well said. Did you read anything at all into the fact that Ousmane Diomande, a player that we both like,
Mm-hmm.
a player that looked really good against us 2 years ago when we faced Sporting in the Europa League
Mm-hmm.
quarterfinals, I believe, uh, a minute into the game, he had a yellow for some sort of coming together with Havertz. Did you
Mm.
think that was an indication of how the game was about to go?
Yeah, I think, do you know what? So, in regards to Diomande in general, he's a fantastic talent. His temperament is right now absolutely stinks. I don't know, you don't know what you kind of gonna get with him in a way. Like today he was extra fired up, but even then, I just feel like, yeah, he's got a lot to work on. But he's very young. He's still very young in it, so I'll give him that. But in terms of what it meant for the game, I won't lie to you. It looked like they were scared. That to me just looked like you're scared. For a minute into the game, you're doing too much. You're already showing your panties now. So that's what it looked like to me.
Oh man, Arsenal started very quickly in this game.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that they were peppering the goal or anything like that, but they just immediately pushed Sporting back
Mm-hmm.
and had the ball, and it was set piece, it was ball movement, it was a lot of fluidity. I guess the question is, what do you think the manager emphasized for the team going into this game? Like, what was the tactical sort of approach that he's wanted in this game to sort of break it open, playing against a formation that we typically don't see. We don't play against a lot of 3 at the back
Three,
type
four.
teams. Yeah,
Yeah.
they play a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-2-1 or whatever the hell it is,
Yeah.
based on Amarim and now their new manager, whose name I've forgotten. You don't really matter because we beat the shit out of you, my nigga. But what do you think Mikel's emphasis was going into this game, and what did you see? I suppose is a better question.
So quite a few times, you know, before even after the goals, we saw a lot of 1v1s from our wide men versus you know, either their wide centre backs or their wing backs, basically. And it was all about exploiting the space that those wing backs actually leave. That's what it was, and getting the ball there as quickly as we can. Now, a lot of the time when we had the ball at the back, we played out of their press really well. And one of the key components there was not only how quickly we moved the ball, but the fact that we would actually entice them. But Declan Rice is essentially being the spare man in almost every phase, basically. So the amount of times that Odegaard dropped in, got the ball, he looks up, shifts it, and Rice is in, basically. Rice carries the ball forward, and we're in. He can go either side. So it was all about exploiting that space, enticing them in, but making sure that we're going to kill them in those wide areas. And I think we spoke about, I made a joke that might have upset you a little bit, but there was a very, very obvious weakness on one side of the pitch for Sporting, and yeah, we look like an apex predator, basically going there over and over again.
Yeah, I think it was very, very noticeable, and I think we saw this from Trossard a game or two ago. Maybe it was last game as well. But Declan Rice, who was nominally the left 8, was spending a lot of time in the right half space, combining with Odegaard and Saka and all them guys, and it's like, are we just trying to kill these motherfuckers with wide overloads, or what's going on here? Is that the plan?
So wide overloads in general is one of our ways of chance creation, and also one of the ways that we access the box. And I want to highlight a point from last season. Arsenal, but in particular Odegaard and Saka, we had I think after we beat the living dog shit out of Chelsea, the highest pass combination into the box was Odegaard to Saka with 39, I believe. And the second after that was Saka to Odegaard with 19. So what you do with something like that is you try to not over egg it, you try to support it and platform it as much as you can, because it's obviously working and teams can't stop it. So when teams try to obviously go man for man, whatever, usually we'd be doing that with there'd be like 4v4 in the wide area kind of thing. And the individual quality of Odegaard and Saka means that 4v4 is really a 4v6 basically. But teams obviously get wise to that. So what do? You just move someone else over now, and now there's an extra pass for Saka to come back in field to, whether it's Odegaard, whether it's Rice, doesn't matter, because now they have to think about it, because now it's actually physically a 5v4 now. And now they've got to think about who do we actually track, and whoever gets the ball, you're in trouble regardless, because both of them are adequate passers, especially Odegaard. And we saw, that led to the first goal basically. Like the ball came back in field, and who was there? Declan Rice. And it was, go back and watch it. It was literally a 5v4. So yeah, that it was definitely that tactic and that move was definitely, they watched the tapes loads of times basically, and it looked really, really good.
Yeah, that's a fantastic segue, because the first goal came in the 7th minute of the game. So it was looking like it was going to be a good day very early on. And the goal was essentially created by a combination play that released Timber on the right side. He crossed the ball. The cross didn't even seem that dangerous when he hit it. It was kind of slow, but it was in a very dangerous area. And Havertz would have got there, but he was being pulled back by a defender. And Martinelli, our fastest player, helped us bring our fast start to a proper conclusion, and it was 1-0. How did you feel when your boy Marks Manelli got us off the mark?
Like, he's the one, like, genuinely, like, he's the one. Saka is the obvious choice, but he is the one that I want us to win so bad, because I think he just deserves it so much. Like, he deserves it so fucking much. Like,
well, what is it, the man in the garden? Why the fuck he deserve it?
He's just, honestly, he's the one that takes the pelters from everyone's like, yeah,
Mustard! Sorry. I glitched. My bad.
He definitely glitched. So like when it comes to, we can upgrade, yeah, he's the obvious choice. And it's like, you do realize he's still, like, he's just turned 23, like, and it's okay to be inconsistent sometimes, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. Like, that's not a bad player kind of thing. Let's just walk with him through this tough period. And it's going to be lost among obviously all the other goals kind of thing. But that was such an important goal for Arteta, for Arsenal, for our record in Europe, everything that, like, who scores that goal matters. I say it all the time. When you're a coach and you're coaching, and your best finisher is the one on the end of chances, especially ones like that kind of thing, you've done your job as a coach. You've absolutely done your job as a coach. So it's working. It's whatever. whatever you want to say about Arteta, whatever you want to say about Martinelli kind of thing, it's working. It's actually working. So, yeah, I'm, again, going back to Chelsea, again, we created a chance. It fell to Martinelli. He stuck it away because in that particular lineup, first 11, he was our best finisher and we've manufactured a chance for him. So I was just pleased to see that shit working the way it should, basically.
That's what's up. I was pretty excited because,
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I'm not going to retread territory they just very, very, very graciously trod on. There's not a lot of negatives from this game, but I will say that, and I don't know if it's just the natural rhythm of a football game, and we've watched thousands, maybe even millions. That's not possible. But we watch a lot of football in our lives. And I guess when you score against a team at home, they're going to come at you for a little bit. But it did bother me briefly, that Sporting sort of had the ball for, I want to say the next 5 minutes or so. They kind of had us pinned back a little bit. Is this something that we need to be wary of? Because I feel as if it's been a trend throughout the season that we take the lead, and even though we aren't necessarily scared of teams and we trust our defending, it feels like we still don't mash that gas, and I feel like that kind of happened again today. Am I over-egging it, or do you think it was just the natural rhythm of the game?
I think in previous games you'd probably be correct, but this is a Champions League game away from home, and teams are allowed to be good. Teams are allowed to cause you problems because they've got good players themselves, kind of thing. So it was just one of those ones where you're gonna get a reaction. Like, that's it. You're gonna get a reaction, and their reaction didn't do anything to us, basically. Like, they were throwing their little jabs, tried to throw some haymakers, and we absolutely bobbed and weaved those. And we took the ball back and fucked them off, basically. That's what it was. Like, it was just, you score your goal, you don't try to obviously go for the kill straight away because, again, you're in Europe. We've been burnt a million times by being naive in Europe. I need people to get through their heads that this is as perfect as you're going to get on a European night. We scored 5 goals away from home. It doesn't matter if there's 5 or 10 minute periods where, we're not hanging on a bit, but we're obviously having to dig in a little bit. That's okay. It's Europe. It's the Champions League. It's going to happen, like, point blank period. So there's been games that we've lost, kind of thing, where for good periods we've looked Inter, for example. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there was some Inter fans thinking, why did they dominate for so long? But they won the game. You know what I'm saying? Right. Arsenal are a good team. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're allowed to obviously manufacture chances. So that kind of stuff doesn't bother me, to be honest. It's ebbs and flows. But I will say momentum, we did very, very well to just stop the momentum straight away. Took this thing out of the game, played it at our pace, and upped it when we needed to. So,
yeah, let's just skip ahead to the first goal was 7 minutes in. The second goal was 22 minutes in. So 15 minutes in. I would say in that 15-minute space between the goals, even though Sporting had a period where they sort of held the ball. I wouldn't say they dominated. They just held the ball. Arsenal never really seemed in danger. And that was punctuated by another move down the right side, another wide overload. Number 5 releases Saka into space. Basically, it wasn't necessarily a cross. I think if there was no one else rushing to the line, that ball trickles in. But Havertz had to put a foot on it because
it was going wide.
Otherwise, and it was 2-0. Havertz, what'd you make of his general game and the goal itself? Because that was probably the easiest finish that you have to do this season, I would say.
So Havertz looked super fit today. So I was pleased with that. He was way more mobile and way more brave in him, like going for balls and stuff like that. But the goal itself, again, this is what I talk about. That's basic shit, like just following the ball into the box, and there's a goal from there. You literally got a goal from just following the ball into the box. Saka puts that in, kind of thing, but it's trickling wide. But if you're not following the ball in, we're still 1-0 up, kind of thing. And then now, we might not even get we might not get the second goal before half time. You see what I'm saying? So shit like that is literally, it's almost life and death difference. You have to do those basic things because he's that particular goal itself. Havertz probably going to score about another 6 or 7 of those this season for sure. So keep doing it, basically. What
I'm saying. Then on to the last goal, right before halftime. The king of Brazil. Yeah, as you can see behind Coach, for those of you on YouTube, the king of Brazil. I don't even know if he was being marked at the corner. It doesn't really even matter if he's being marked at the corner. There was a very popular well, I guess we're still on Twitter a little bit. So there's a popular tweet. Someone posted a screenshot from a group chat, from a WhatsApp group chat, where he said, Gabriel right before a corner is like Thierry Henry in the left half space back in the day. Like, he looks that unstoppable. And good Lord, was this was just, I mean, you watch it back and at no point did it look as if he wasn't going to score.
Yeah.
The minute Rice hit the ball, it was like, go. Then on top of that, he does the Gyokeres celebration afterwards, which is hilarious. His was a little higher up, though. He was covering his eyes instead of covering his mouth. Which
I think he did it on purpose. Personally, for me, that's how, if you're going to mock someone, that's how you mock them. Get their celebration wrong. That's the whole point of it.
He said, you can't see me.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people are like, yeah, bring me Gyokeres because he's got celebrations so cold. I'm just like, okay. Whatever.
Like let's talk in a little more detail about Gyokeres himself. Like, he was supposed to be the big threat. The media before the game were trying to get Arteta to give a quote of some sort about this guy. And Arteta was like, I don't care. I'm here to play against the team. You know, like,
he doesn't care because he's not good enough. That's why. He's
probably he's a good player on a good team. But what did you make of the matchup between him and, you know, the two best central defenders in England at a bare minimum?
Easy work. Just easy work, man. Saliba, I'm pretty sure, guys, watch the game back again. He had
I will.
Yeah.
Right
watch
after
the game
this,
back
I will.
again. If you can tell me he wasn't wearing his warm-up tracksuit, I will PayPal you precisely 5 pence. But genuinely, he was that relaxed. He might have even been eating a croissant, like, at one point. Like, he was that relaxed, and it was funny just seeing Gyokeres try his luck on both centre backs and realizing I'm not getting shit out of both of them. Like, it's not happening, because usually centre back partnerships, there's one that you feel like, okay, I'm going to sit on this one because he's like, that's where I might get a bit of change out. But you saw how he had a couple of shots, but there was one shot in particular in the second half that let me know that he's basically given up, until Gabriel went off, which he was running through, basically. Gabriel was tracking him, and he shot on his second touch super early. Strikers normally do that, not because they're trying to catch a goalkeeper, but because they know the next touch, the ball is gone.
It's over. It's over. Yeah, he was just like, listen, man, if I don't hit this, I'm not getting nothing. You know, and that was pretty much it for him. And it was really, because I feel like in the first half, he mostly targeted Gabriel, and that was a bad idea. Then in the second half, he kind of moved over more towards Saliba's side, which was a worse idea. And at the end of the day, from my perspective, this motherfucker just looked like Taiwan when he, but Swedish. Like he had nothing for them. Nothing. I wasn't impressed, to be honest.
So and here's my thing. I'm not saying he's not a good striker. You don't score that many goals if you don't have some sort of striking talent. I get all of that. But my thing is you've got to show us something. And yeah, I think Isak is better than him. I don't think Isak is better than him because he's played in England and he showed it in England. I think Isak is better than him because Isak scores quite literally all types of goals, but more importantly, he literally can create for himself. Right. The goal Isak scored against us, Gyokeres can absolutely score that goal against us. I have no doubt in my mind he can score that type of goal against us with that sort of service, no problem. I don't think Isak is picking the ball up anywhere in and around like 25 yards from goals and beating one, maybe even two men and putting in the back of the net. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. I think Gyokeres can do all those things. I just think he can do them at a certain level. And that level is not against a team like Arsenal.
Yeah.
Like, I think Isak, I still think he gets, he scored against us this season and Newcastle got the points. But ultimately, he's not really cooking. These are very good central defenders. These are arguably the best central defenders in the world, and they showed that today. But I think with Isak, there's more of a chance. There's more possibilities with him. Like, if I had to bet on one of them scoring against Arsenal, well, just look at the fucking stats. Isak scored against us, and Gyokeres did not. The end. Gyokeres is a guy that he can create his own opportunities, but mostly on the break, and mostly by being more physical than the defenders he's playing against. And if he doesn't have that advantage over a defender, I don't know that he's. Put it this way. I'm not tripping about him not coming to the Emirates. I'm not interested. I'm just not.
I've never been on board. Like I shitted on the celebration. Don't get me wrong. The celebration is very cold, but
it's cold. It's cold.
But I'm not moved. I'm not moved. So many people love this guy. I'm like, I'll be honest with you. There's like 3 strikers, all younger than him, that I'm taking a punt on before.
Absolutely. So, the Spanish Nigerian boy, Ageowa, Samu.
Yeah.
I'm taking Evan Ferguson. He's in the news today. I'm taking him.
Mm.
I'm taking Shesko.
Sheshko and Delap for me. Absolutely.
Delap as well. My bad. Yeah, my bad. Delap as well. And that's not to say Gyokeres is bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I just prefer those other players.
Yeah.
And Gyokeres will have a lovely career. Like you don't score 50, goals and assists last season and be a bad player. We're not calling him bad. We're just saying there's better.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the halftime, and we got back, and I didn't like the energy, bro. We do this sometimes. And maybe again, this is what we talked about a little bit earlier. Good teams have a right to do their own shit as well. Like Sporting came out with better energy. We were a bit sloppy. We gave up a corner, and during the corner, Calafiori slips. Ignacio gets ahead of him, plants the ball in the net. It's 3-1. It looks like game might be on. The stadium is back rocking. Where were you at that point? How were you feeling?
I still trusted the team, but I was glad it happened. A little bit like Pep's quotes from earlier today. My team, we need this loss. We need I was like, yeah, that's exactly what we needed. To kick up the backside. You boys not getting your clean sheet bonus tonight because you pissed it away by being fucking idiots. Even though that initial whole play I think came from Odegaard giving the ball away. So I won't be too critical of the defenders per se, but you need that kick up that backside. But it's nice to learn and not be punished for it, basically, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah,
I'll take a kick up the backside if it doesn't result in a concession.
Exactly, yeah. So look, we scored the third goal. They got one back literally 2 minutes after kickoff kind of thing. And then we had to suffer a little bit in terms of just them trying to pressure us. But a lot of it was in front of us. They were going a bit more direct as well. Right. Had a few nice pass combinations and whatever. And I'll be honest with you, some of those pass combinations came from the fact that they were braver and just started throwing a lot more men forward. So we were getting outnumbered, especially in certain parts of certain central parts of the midfield, shall I say. But with that being said, we rode it out, and after a while, we just started getting the ball back to Odegaard again. And what Odegaard is so good at is he's so good at taking a sting at their game. He's also so good at putting you on the back foot like straight away. Like he'll receive the ball and his body language will be like, okay, I want to go back. And he makes a quick shoulder drop, and now he's in. He's facing your goal. He's got the whole options to look for kind of thing. And 9 times out of 10 he's picking up the right option kind of thing. And I feel like teams not knowing when he's going to do that is such a huge weapon. But yeah, just on the suffering part, just on us learning without having to concede another goal and then another goal, like City, it's nice. And I think Arteta is probably going to go back to that period in the game and say, guys, you do that again, basically in Europe again, you probably might not survive that one. So learn from it.
Threaten them with fines. Fuck that. Because for me, a lot of that period of the game was self-inflicted. I'm not here to shit on anybody. It was all very lovely today. I'm very happy. You see, I got my little costume on. I'm yelling mustard all day. It was a lovely day, but I feel as if it was just sloppiness from our best players, really. I mean, Saka gave the ball away a bunch of times. Odegaard gave the ball away a bunch of times. Tried to do it, it felt as if, it felt like they'd won the game, which they had technically. But they started playing like it. But you have to earn the right to see a game out. And you stay on your square, you stay sharp, you stay disciplined. And we just kind of, we dropped the intensity by say 5%. And Sporting got lucky with one goal. And honestly, their best other moment in that period was the one time that Gyokeres got a foul called on Gabriel for the free kick that he blasted into the fucking stands. So nothing really came of it. On to the next goal, our press. I haven't had any issues with it all season. I mean, when it's been less than optimal, it's been because certain personnel were missing. But this was a perfect example of our press working magic because 14 were moved. They were pinging that ball around at the back, got it into midfield, got it back a little bit, moved it around. Diomande passed it to Hoyland. How do you pronounce that motherfucker's name? He was good today.
Yeah, he was.
Give him credit. Their captain, Morton Moyland. Let's just call him that for now. He was good. He's also an Arsenal fan, I hear. So
I mean, who isn't these days, man?
Yeah, he had some good shots at Raya's goal that Raya saved pretty easily. But the press just snapped in, and Odegaard got the ball back. We somehow, it wasn't very smooth getting into their box, but they panicked, and Diomande, your boy with the poor temperament again, took Odegaard's Achilles. Saka steps up for the penalty, bears it. It's 4-1. It's game over. At this point, it was done and dusted at halftime for me. I didn't really question it when they scored, but at this point, it was completely over, right?
Yeah. I think what's really key about that is when your team is on the back foot, kind of, because I've seen it happen to Arsenal before. I've seen good Arsenal teams do it to other teams as well. But when your team's on a little bit on the back foot, but you're obviously already winning the game, the dagger, especially when it's not a late dagger, it's a sign to me of a good team that you know that it's within you to essentially just go up a gear or go up another 10-20% kind of thing, just to say, all right, guys, you've had your fun now. Let's actually just end this shit now. And it's nice. Again, the press, like we upped it, the press, we won the ball back kind of thing. And we were at them, we went right into the danger zones. Like, it wasn't, we didn't go around, we just went straight for the kill kind of thing. And again, this is the ruthlessness that I think Arteta is trying to get us to. We may or may not be one, maybe two other players away from being able to really do that on a super duper consistent basis kind of thing. But the framework is there. The framework is there already for it. So I think, the penalty itself, by the way, that's probably, I want to say, Saka's best penalty for us, because you hit the side netted like that, away from home as well. I wouldn't say it's a pressure penalty, but he said he didn't fall pressure, and I believe him kind of thing. But it's a game where, like, you don't score that and the Sporting score and it's 3-2. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like,
Right.
I'm very, very pleased with the way he's taking his penalty there. So yeah, good stuff, man.
All right. Then the final goal came about 18 minutes later in the 82nd minute. At this point, we'd already put on a bunch of subs. I think Ethan was on, Marino was on, Sard was on. And this was essentially a combination from two of the substitutes. Marino took a shot from the edge of the box, sort of in the area where you'd expect to find Odegaard. He took a shot, goalkeeper saves it, parries it out. Trossard just strolls in to nod it in. And we predicted it in the chat. Trossard was going to come off the bench and score today.
No, it was all you.
Yeah, it felt like that kind of game. It just felt like that kind of game, because I feel like Trossard has been in a bit of a rut lately. And even in his substitute appearance today, like, I know what he is as a player now. I accept him for what he is. I love having him at the club. I hope they renew his contract. But ultimately, he's a super sub. He's not a guy I want to play 90 minutes. I just think, despite his alleged technical abilities, he's just too loose with the ball. He tries too much stuff that doesn't come off. And I think if you're not scoring at the rate at which he was scoring at the end of last season, that stuff gets very frustrating to watch. Like, when there's a simple pass to make the simple pass. Don't try to break 3 lines because, you have the vision of, like, nigga, you just a fucking raccoon. Play your fucking role, Rocket Raccoon. Fucking start the ship up and let other people drive and shit. Just play your role, man. But it was nice to see him get a goal. I think it'd be good for his confidence. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on a bit of a streak right now. That's as mean as I'm going to be to anybody in this game. I would like you, as a fellow watcher of the game and kind of sort of Arsenal Football Club, to give flowers to anywhere from 3 to 5 players that you thought were fantastic this evening, because they were all pretty good, I would say.
I'll never get bored of it, but I'm just going to start with Saka again. Like,
man of the match, officially.
Yeah. Look, there's something different about when one of your academy products generally ascends to be one of your best players. But it's something that even that goes beyond that, when they turn into quite literally one of the best players on the planet, like one of the best players alive. Like,
then
arguably,
then on top of that, they're Yoruba.
Like, bro, like there's I don't know what it is. It just hits so different. So when we're in a game like this, and when we're trying to ascend to the next level and win shit, and this guy is at the forefront of it all, kind of thing. Essentially, we're going as far as he goes, basically.
Mustard.
It just hits different. This was a quiet game for me. If you like, another goal and an assist, guys. Another goal and fucking, like, are you taking the piss?
Bro, have you noticed how in seemingly every game he's played this season, the fullback marking him has touched grass? He puts them on the floor every time. That's not normal. Like, people don't get cooked to that extent in every game. No. Like, he puts grown men on the grass every game. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Like,
and we're gonna have to retire the star boy name now, because I'll be honest with you, this is now general chieftain of wherever his grandparents are from in Nigeria. Like, he is now the official like representative of that. Like he's the chief. Like he's not the star boy anymore. He's whatever. You guys need to start double aim for him now. Basically, is what I'm saying. So
like dead ass. Like honestly, when I hear people for at least the last year, when I see people use that Star Boy shit, it actually annoys me. So I'm like, this is not a boy. Okay, this is a man. When he was a boy, he was carrying the team.
Yeah.
Now he's a man, and he knows he's a man, and he acts like a man. Now y'all need to get on the fucking bus with it. Like he is beyond that boy. He pays taxes, nigga. Like y'all need to respect that shit. This is star man, and I am so blessed to live at the same time as Bukayo Saka. I'm just very thankful, man. Like not everybody is this lucky, man. Not everybody's as lucky, man. Like my dad used to watch Arsenal with me, and he never knew who Saka was before he left this planet. I'm a lucky motherfucker, man. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Allah. Who's up next on your list of great performances tonight?
I'm gonna go probably just combine them, but our centre backs again. It was just nice to see because this is.
You know what? While you say this, can you hit the Gyokeres? Just while you're talking about the centre backs, yeah. Then
no, it's not the Gyokeres, it's the Gabriel.
It's the Gabriel now. We don't took that nigga chain.
Yeah,
come get your chain back, Victor.
So what was I gonna say?
The centre backs.
Yeah, the centre back. So I think it was before the fourth goal, and we're under a bit of pressure, and the balls got cleared in the second. The balls got cleared, and Gabriel is literally he's ran beyond our midfield to push the team up basically, and he pulled everyone. He's like, guys, come, let's go, kind of thing.
Leadership.
And it's that sort of leadership. It's that sort of being switched on. Where we're just like, we're not resting on our laurels. We're not sitting there like patting our own backs, admiring ourselves, kind of thing. There's a game to win here. It's all business. Like we're having fun, but it's all business, kind of thing. And that transmits through the team. I'm probably going to give it to another. Well, actually, no, I'll give it to Timber as well, because Timber, he is our release valve basically. In so many ways, whether it's him finding the exit pass by him dribbling out of pressure, or being an exit pass by essentially moving into space.
Yeah, for Raya to hit. Raya hit him a couple different times today.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just like,
it was very reminiscent of Szczesny to Sanya.
Yes, exactly that. Hitting the wing from goalkeepers is actual football heritage. Jens Lehmann was the first time I saw. But yeah, there's a very distinct way to play football that lets you know that this person, regardless of physical condition, they will always have a job. And I feel like Timber has mastered it. The guy is just pure football. That's what he is. He is. When you want to talk about Ajax's legacy and Ajax's, whatever, like Julian Timber, he is the Rolodex of it all. Basically, he's exactly what Ajax is. So I'll give it to him.
He's Johan Cruyff's wet dream.
Yeah, and I suppose another one would just be a unit. Our midfield was just great. Again, the entire midfield. Like, don't want to single anybody out per se. But the midfield is getting. Rice doesn't look like he's got a broken toe. So,
like I just really enjoyed this performance from him, because I feel as if in the past, when we've sort of given him the nominal left 8 role, it's been a lot of wasted effort from him, a lot of shuttle runs that don't really allow him to show his best qualities, because when we turn the ball over, he's ahead of the ball. Now he's running, when in actuality his superpower is being behind the ball and snuffing shit out before. Like today, just the fluidity of the midfield, man. Like, bro, the shit looked like hookah smoke to me, man. Like it was like I didn't even know who was playing where at certain points.
That was the fireworks that day,
Man, quick mention for Ethan. He came on and again he looked fantastic in his brief cameo. Unfortunately, he didn't get to bang another goal or assist or whatever, but it was still very lovely to see him. And it's really nice knowing that we can rest a player like Declan Rice and not really drop the level by bringing on someone like Mikel Merino, who had the same sort of physical presence and ground coverage. And honestly, I'm just really I wish, if Gabriel didn't give us such an iconic picture, which you currently have behind you, the cover would be Mikel Arteta, because I feel as if of all the characters that that we've talked about, that we talk about on a constant basis since we started this podcast, he's the one that deserves the most credit for tonight's result, because he's earned this. Like, I think, again, we started this podcast by mentioning the criticism of him, or one of the criticisms of him being that he hasn't really done much in Europe.
Yeah.
And a result like this essentially puts that aside for a while. You don't get to complain that, oh, Arsenal hasn't won away in Europe for a while when you beat whoever 5-1 away from home. So I'm just really happy for the manager. And hopefully, and I suppose this is my final question for you, hopefully we learn some lessons that we can apply moving forward in Europe and elsewhere. What do you think the takeaways are from this performance for the team moving forward?
Just Havertz mentioned in his post-match that Munich was obviously wasn't good kind of thing, and they kind of asked the same question that you asked kind of thing. What did you learn? What did you kind of learn? He's just like, after we went out last year, we really want to go out and just prove that we're at the level. Basically, that's what he was getting at basically, and the only way they also can prove that they're at the level is to show that they're learning from their mistakes. So again, I go back to that because I feel like that 10-minute period, I want to call it in the second half, arguably so far has probably been our most important of the season, because if they get a second goal in that period kind of thing, the whole game, regardless of what you do, momentum is the one intangible in football. It doesn't matter how good you are as a coach, you can do nothing about it. If the other team's got their tails up, you have. That's why players get booked, because they're wasting time, because they know what it is. You literally cannot stop it. The other team gets their momentum, and then you're fucked basically. If they score in that period, you're definitely fucked. So us not buckling under that pressure kind of thing, I feel like that really sets us up for the rest of the season potentially. Like we showed it. We showed we could play well. Then okay, we drop a little bit, but we stay solid. We stay compact. We stick together, kind of thing. And then now we didn't get punished for it, but we didn't get punished for it because we actually did what we were supposed to do in that situation. We slowed the game down, played it at our pace, kind of thing, and we go again. Like away from home for the rest of the season, I'm not particularly worried now. I feel like the monkey's off our back. If we're doing it in Europe, Premier League, we're good. So,
all right. On that note, we should probably just go ahead and get this one out for the people as soon as possible. This has been the SPS Arsenal edition. Thank you, Coach, for making the time to do this, because we generally do not do specific Arsenal podcasts for Champions League games. We just wrap it in with the rest of the games, and you can still expect our usual Champions League coverage to follow later this week. But again, Coach, thank you. Victor Gyokeres, thank you for handing your celebration over. And shit, man, you know what to tell the people.
Peace.
Hey folks, this is Dean from the Shirtless Plantain Show. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and follow us on all our socials. You can see them right beneath our recordings in every video. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.